Dun, 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 dun.
What's that?
It's our theme song.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun,
That's
dun,
not
dun,
a theme song,
dun,
is it?
dun, dun, dun. Boom, boom,
Okay,
boom,
let's see.
boom, dun.
Welcome to the Gospel Truth.
I'm Dean.
And I'm Audrey, and this week we celebrate the 5th Sunday of Ordinary Time.
High five.
High five. And this week we're going to dive into the theme of healing. A lot of interesting things happen in the readings this week. But before we dive into the readings, do you want to remind everyone what the Gospel Truth is about?
Of course. The Gospel Truth is all about Audrey and I sharing our thoughts about the Word, the faith happenings in the church. By doing so, hopefully we can understand our own faith a little bit better. And maybe you as the viewers can get something out of it as well.
Yep.
And of course, we always follow that up with a dive into the readings. So let's go ahead and dive it.
Yep, let's go do it.
All right. So the readings from the 5th Sunday of Ordinary Time. The first reading is from the book of Job. I did a little bit of digging. Mm-hmm. And I found that we don't really read from Job on Sundays that often.
Yeah.
Apparently it's only twice.
Twice a
And
year?
this is one of those 2 times. No, like twice through the whole 3-year cycle of all of the liturgical readings. So you only get to hear him like twice every 3 years.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Job.
I know. And that's what's crazy is because Job has such an interesting story. If you don't know about Job, highly recommend you look him up. J-O-B. Like we're saying Job, but it's pronounced Job.
Backwards.
I mean, sorry, backwards.
Yeah.
It's whatever. But anyway, the book of Job is all about like this test of faith.
The Lord is testing me.
Mm-hmm.
Job is this prosperous individual with a family. And basically, his faith is tested because all of these bad things start happening to him. Like his children die. He starts getting boils on his face. He loses his prosperity, all of his wealth. And basically, it's just this test to see whether he is still faithful to God despite all of these bad things happening to him. And spoiler alert, he actually is. And God yes, I know, thank God. And I believe God sort of restores his prosperity at the end of the book. But it's a very interesting set of readings.
Yeah.
That, brings to the question, why do bad things happen to good people?
Yeah.
Right. And in the reading, Job is like not happy.
Yeah.
Is not man's life on earth a drudgery?
Yeah. Ooh. I shall not see happiness again.
Oh, I feel for Job.
Yeah.
Right?
But then the responsorial psalm responds to that.
The responsorial psalm comes back with, praise the Lord who heals the brokenhearted. Mm-hmm. Right? God will provide the healing that we need.
Yes.
So that's optimistic.
That. Yeah.
Second reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Basically, Paul is saying what his purpose is. Like he's preaching the gospel and he's doing so willingly in an effort to bring salvation to some, or as many people as he can, right? And so I like this reading too because it helps us like wonder what is our motivation or what is our calling on earth. And then finally in the gospel you see Jesus and he's doing some healing. Like he heals Simon's mother-in-law, he heals a bunch of people that have demons and diseases. And then at the end of the gospel, Jesus even says, look, let's go to some nearby towns because I'm here to preach.
Let's run it again.
Let's keep doing it because for this purpose have I come.
Yeah.
Right? And so you see a lot of images of healing here, and you see Jesus basically indicating that his purpose on earth is to heal and to preach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I like that. I think the readings, the sequence in which the readings happen are really great. It was a little hard for us to kind of really figure out what that was because it started out so morbid.
So sad.
And sad, right? Yeah. But, it ends at, the readings for Sunday end with Jesus preaching and healing and him wanting to continue doing that. But I think if we go back to the first reading, poor Job, right? Like he is just been dealt a really crappy hand. Yep. And, all these bad things are happening. And I think we all can relate where we're living our life and we're doing the best we can and we feel like we're good people and good human beings and bad things happen to us and we're like, why?
Why, God, why?
Is this happening to me? Why are bad things happening to good people?
Yeah. Like I remember we got our car stolen once, our car broken into another time. And I was like,
that wasn't fun.
I was like, come on. Like, why us? Like, we haven't done anything really that wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I would never break into someone else's car, so why would that happen to me? Like, just start questioning.
Yeah. I mean, you can get really existential about, like, you're wondering, I'm doing all the things right, and then you kind of, like, really start beating yourself up about, like, oh, was it because I was it because I yelled at my parents and I talked back, or was it is it because I didn't have change for the person asking for some spare change outside the store? And it can get, it's really easy to beat yourself up and go down this dark hole of like self-loathing.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up.
And if it's not you, 100% certain that like it could be someone in your life. I think we as humans all go through that. I guarantee that.
Yes.
And I think in these moments, what we can try our best to do is to look to God for healing, right? Use God and Jesus as a motivation to not let this brokenheartedness like beat you, and don't be overcome by it. Use God as the motivation to fight through this and survive it, so that you can come out stronger on the other side of it.
Yeah. And so some of you might be thinking like, but, isn't God the one that I'm questioning? Like, why are these bad things happening to me? How could I possibly look to God for comfort?
Yeah.
And I think one of the interesting things that we have mentioned a lot of times over the past episodes is that God can often work his magic through human beings.
That's also true. You're right.
Right? We have to look and seek that comfort and that healing from those around us, our family, our friends. Like, to give you an example, literally right before we were recording this episode, Audrey was on the phone with her mom. And in previous episodes, Audrey had mentioned that last year, Audrey lost her dad. Right? And that also means that Audrey's mom lost her husband, her life partner. And that is not easy. Like, Audrey's going through her own grief, but her mom obviously is also going through a very different type of grief. And just listening to Audrey on the phone and just, seeing her offer that comfort to her mom is the type of healing we're talking about, right? Like, Audrey was even mentioning how the church kind of sees heaven. Yeah. And that her mom should take comfort in the fact that, to be in heaven means to experience eternal happiness and eternal joy. And that should help her out and get her through the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just an example of that healing, right?
Yeah, that's really sweet. I think that's just funny, just because like I don't go into these things, or I'm sure none of us go into these thinking like I'm gonna heal someone today, and because I honestly just thought I was just like having a conversation with my mom and catching up with her, but to hear that from an outsider, that's really touching, right? And it's a nice reminder to us that our purpose, one of the purposes in life that we have, is to heal and be healers, and so let's not downplay the effect our actions have on others, right? I think we can all, to us, like to me, I just thought I was like talking to my mom and just catching up, right? But then, who knows how that was received on the other end of things. Sometimes my husband will check in on me and he'll just ask like, oh, how was your day? Or hope you had a good day, or something like that. And I'm like, wow, I really needed to hear, or I want someone to ask me about that because I had a really tough day. So the fact that you're asking means a lot. And so let's always remember that, every like moment, big or small, there's a big impact no matter what. And you don't know what other people are going through that in which they will receive that.
Exactly. It kind of just tells us that every little act of kindness might actually be a source of healing for people that need it, right? Like maybe you've done something for someone and says, I really needed that today.
Yeah.
Right? So it can be a big deal. So maybe we can challenge you to maybe do like one random act of kindness every day for the next week.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't even need to be big, right?
Yeah.
It can just be checking in on those that you live with. It can be sending a text message to someone that you haven't interacted with in a while. It can be sending an email, right, to someone you haven't interacted with in a while. But that little random act of kindness might actually really brighten someone's day and give them the healing that they never really even realized they might have needed.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, and who knows, like on the other end, you feeling that you healed someone or helped someone heal also has healing effects.
Oh,
it can get pretty
like
meta. Yeah, it can get pretty meta and pretty like fulfilling all around for everyone. And so, again, like in times where, you're kind of like questioning, like, why is this happening to me? And maybe you're like, oh, how can I look to God for healing? Also, like, look to other people, because God also works through us as humans to get his message across too.
Exactly.
So I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yes, we will.
But yeah, we hope you challenge yourselves again to really heal others and through acts of kindness. And we look forward to chatting with you all next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Gospel Truth.
Hold on. I'm going to run that one more time.